good morning, America. It is day 6 of the night. We are for another episode of the book conversation. I want to send a shout out to all my last minute shots, all my I get it next week, all my Christmas 30 days away, 45 days away, 60 days away. I ain't got to worry about it. It's our time. I'm with y'all. It's our time right now. We got to get on it for these last good 2 weeks before Christmas. I love y'all. Y'all with me, man. I ain't got nothing yet for nobody. I ain't got nothing on nothing. It's all right. We gonna make it in time for the holiday, man. It's coming. What's going on, America? How you doing, big brother? What's going on?
Man, look at here. I was them last minute people. But I ain't gonna lie, shopping then got a lot easier since my kids then got older and the wife already get whatever she wants, so we good.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's how I feel. Listen, I know the girls, it's easy. Either get them a new phone or give them cash.
All day long.
And my son, he said, Dad, I just want a pair of shoes and some money on the Xbox. So I get that whenever
bet.
Too easy. I ain't rushing out here to get nothing. Everybody else, not give them. You get some gift cards to keep it pushing.
There you go, man. Bro, we got a good one today. I wanted to go earlier in the week, but you know how it is, man. You're working and doing all that stuff. We just had to save it for Saturday.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we got some special guests that I hope have time to drop in today. But if they do, it'll be great. And if they can't or don't have time, we can loop back around to it if need be. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get the housekeeping out the way. Number one, if you would like to interact with us during this broadcast, this live stream, all you have to do is type something in the comments. You type it in the comments, we see it, we throw it up, we talk about it. Or if you got more to say than you willing to type, all you got to do is click the link. It's a link above. You click that, you come into the green room, we throw you up, you can say what you got to say. You can stay on or you can jump in, say your piece and jump out. It's all up to you. You can do all of that. Next thing, book study, Thursday nights at 7. Where the Superior Man. This thing is getting real, y'all. We need, boy. That's all I can say. It's getting deep. We move it into part 3. About halfway through the book. Loving it. Y'all got to come for that. Friday night, we do the Nerd Show. Me, Doc, and the Crown Prince, the Rat King. That's his Xbox PlayStation username, the Rat King, the professional shinobi, the number 1 Hashira. Rat King is with me. Last night, we looked at some movie trailers, and what's funny, man, the Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear. That's all I got to say. Cocaine Bear. Then on Saturdays, Book of Man, Saturday Talk with Doc and the Lion at 11. We here.
Yeah, we here.
Let's go.
We got to talk about, man. And this week, man, we got a topic. A lot of people had a lot to say this week. I am torn on this topic. I'll admit that. I got a lot of mixed emotions about it, but overall, I cannot downplay the success of another black man, and I won't do it.
Yeah. Let's throw it up there and see what we're talking about. Coach Prime, was he wrong?
Can you be both wrong and right at the same time?
That's a quandary, man. It depends on how you look at it. I have my own feelings about it, and I am definitely in a different headspace, and I can see the division between a lot of people. The pro-black people definitely don't like it. The people that kind of not pro-black but just black, they have a different way of looking at it. But let's jump into this thing, man. Let's jump into this thing. Okay. But before we put the topics up here, go ahead and say what you think.
Okay, I got three ways I look at this. Like you said, the pro-black, the pro, every man do the best for himself as he can, and then also from a sports fan / commentator angle.
Okay.
pro-black angle, it hurt because I really thought Dion went there with very much with the intent of creating a resurgence for HBCUs. Um,
Right.
there's no question about it. It's 100%. If the product in college football is athletes, as black people, we have the best athletes. And if we can get them to come to the HBCUs will have the best product. And in theory, that will generate income and
Hmm.
grow the HBCUs to be as good, if not better, than the D1 schools. And someone said to me earlier, well, they won't ever get to play in the BCS. And my reply to that was, I don't care about the college football playoff. If we got the best product, the question will be the teams that do win the college football playoffs, are they really the best teams in the country? Because they didn't play them boys over there.
All
So,
right.
so that's my first angle.
Right.
And from that angle, I'm hurt because I really thought that's what was going to happen here. And you could see him starting to pull that major talent to HBCUs.
Okay.
The second part about how I feel about it is I did a little bit of the research. I followed up on it, and I see
Hmm.
that Jackson State was not fulfilling their end of the deal.
Hmm.
You know, they were not simply, plain and simple, were not giving Coach Prime the resources he needed to have a truly competitive and high level team sustained over a long term. It wasn't there.
But look, man. Okay. I'm not a big football fan. Not
But
big. I mean, I can watch it. I know what's going on. I kind of look at it, Sundays when everybody else doing their football stuff. I'm playing video games, watching anime with the boy. Um, but I will say this: when you look deeper in the situation, when it's when you read the stories about Jackson State and how they have not been paying him what they're supposed to pay him. He was supposed to get a percentage of ticket sales, all of this stuff, and they would falsify the ticket numbers so they wouldn't have to pay him. That happened. Or the technical part. Now I do know about this. My original training was in accounting. I switched tracks, but I know some stuff about that. When monies are allocated for a certain thing, you have to use it for that certain thing. You can't pull money from here and throw it over there. That creates a mess up in accounting, and that's a misappropriation of funds. And it's on record they've been doing it. So, is it worth it to stay there? Right? When one, you're spending your own money to repair the practice facilities, you're spending your own money to feed the players, you're spending your own money for travel and clothes, all this stuff out of your own pocket, and they're not paying you, and they're doing some potentially illegal stuff that you can get caught up in. Would you really stay?
that's why I said from the angle of, you know, after I did my research, looking at how Jackson State was handling business, I kind of understood. You know, the decision makes sense from that angle. Like, I'm not gonna stay here and be a part of something that's wrong, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna stay here and be a part of something that's not helping me do my job at the highest level I can.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the third angle from the perspective of just how does it work as football?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's gonna work football wise. Well, I'm not gonna say that. I think it's gonna be hard to make it work football wise because Colorado is not a prime destination.
It is now.
You know, it's not a place where a lot of kids want to go. Now I know he's taking a lot of his talent with him,
Mm-hmm.
and you know I hope that works out for him, and I hope he can grow that organization. I hope he can garner some influence. I think he could have waited one more year and really got one of the big boy jobs that eventually always come available, and not had to go up to Colorado. I think he could have waited a year or so and got him an SEC job where it's a little easier to recruit and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But a man got to make the best decision for him,
Yep.
and putting Colorado back on the map as a formidable school will do a lot for his potential legacy as a coach.
You know what? Look at this. So Jamel said we have to remember that Prime releases a song called "Must Be the Money." Yeah, that was many decades ago, but he had always been an unapologetic capitalist. He would have always have left. To that I say this. We all are like that. And I'm gonna go back to my original question that I posed. Is it up to him to save the HBCU? Is it up to him to do that? Why is it every time it come to HBCU or anything with us, it's all thrown on the shoulders of one black person that's doing something? Nobody else doing the stuff. Why the people who in the front office who misappropriating them funds, why it ain't up to them to save the HBCU? Work with them. But it's all, they throw it all on him. And I would tell you no front, I would have been gone. Because guess what? We say, okay, it's about the kids, black kids and all this and that. But don't black kids go to Colorado? Are there not black players there? Have you ever been in a situation where you are the minority and you in this institution, ain't nothing but white people and people that's not like you, and you there? I can attest to that. I taught in that situation for like 4 years. In a place where 325 people and 4 of them black. That's including me, the bookkeeper, and the 2 students. They need help too.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, when I started breaking it down and started looking at it from all 3 angles, I understand the decision that he made. You know, no, he's not responsible single-handedly for saving HBCUs. Did I think he was starting a trend that could have eventually paid off to help HBCUs become larger and more, you know, help the income, the money, you know, the economic situation overall grow? Yes. But it's responsible single-handedly. And when I see how Jackson State was handling the money, it makes me say more. I don't blame a man for leaving, because he went there, what I thought, and from what everything I could see and what I've read, in good faith, that I'm going to build this program and I'm going to be here and I'm going to do some things. And this is what I need from you as Jackson State. And they didn't feel they entered the bargain.
No, not at all. And honestly, it's a thing, you know, that I saw with a lot of HBCUs. You know, we looked at them when my daughter was going to college. I considered going to one here in my city. And it's always something. And it really got to do with money.
Yep.
All of them. Why? Why is that? I understand they don't have a lot of money and maybe they're trying to rob Peter to pay Paul. I get it.
A scarcity mindset. It's a scarcity mindset. If you think you don't have enough, you ain't gonna never have enough.
So we got here, you know, plus Prime against him and his sons. We were talking about that earlier. Right here, Jackson State did that man dirty, taking his team money for other things.
Yep.
We talked about that. What we got here? He got a ton of kids in the transfer portal. And Colorado is a low pressure situation that does not have a previous national championship in our lifetime. That was from Jamel. Yes. What else we got here? Nope. Then there's from my boy Mills. Shout out to Mills. He only got top athletes to come to J State.
Yep.
And I think that's a difference. Like, it's some kids that know they have a shot at the NFL, and that's their end goal. So no matter what was going to happen, they're going to jump ship and go to what can get them seen for that. Let's say if Prime was at Jackson State and he stayed there, and they turn around and Jerry Rice, you know, somebody else was coaching at Colorado, they was probably going to jump ship, especially if you're a wide receiver and you go in there, you're going to go.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, go ahead.
And like I say, I'm not going to ever support a black man advancing himself. I'm not going to ever go against that. I'm always going to support a black man advancing himself. And if you look at coaching as a profession, going from Jackson State to Colorado is an absolute advance. Jackson State small, they don't pay, they weren't paying him what he's worth, what he can do. And Colorado said, we will get the money. We got the money and we'll get the money.
They're going to get that back double.
And
they're going to get it back double.
Right. And what his biggest issue, and I think people kind of overlook this, is it was about his coaching staff. They weren't providing the money. The money he was looking for wasn't for him. The money he was looking for was to pay his staff.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, these guys out here coaching for peanuts.
Yeah.
Pay my guys, and I'm taking my guys with me to Colorado because I can pay them there. Because they
That's true.
give me the budget to pay my guys.
Yes.
And I can't argue with that because that's a bunch of black guys too.
Well, that's true. And they coming. But look at this comment here. Mills said this, and I was going to bring this part up. Coach Prime almost died at Jackson State. Of course, that man going to leave when he has the opportunity to improve his legacy and family. Let's sit on that for a minute. I did read some of the articles about him being robbed. His car's breaking into when he was working there. All this stuff happening. So we expect him to sit there and endure this because of we need to advance HBCUs. I think this is an everybody responsibility, not just him. The other people working there, like I said, the people in the head office, they got to do better. And as a matter of fact, the parents of the students got to do better. I mean, you can see the difference. And that's what makes me sad about HBCUs in general. There's a huge difference. We looked at colleges when my daughter was going to go to school last year. And we get there and it's just like all kind of shenanigans going on around there. Like, how you going to be there and talk about, oh yeah, you can smoke weed over here, do this. And the people touring the school telling you to do this with the parents. This is ludicrous. And I'm not going to say it's like that everywhere, but I'm quite sure people get there and get loose and all that stuff is happening. So I'm saying, I know that's not related to football, but what I'm saying is that it's more people's responsibility to promote HBCUs more than just Coach Prime.
Yeah. It is first off, we in this age.
Oh, he talking about his health. He wasn't going to physically get killed, and yeah, but he was working hard.
Yeah. We have to, as a people, actively and aggressively promote ourselves and promote the things that we do and we do well. But like you said, in the avenue of HBCUs, because we have one right here in our city, right here in Savannah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we all know it's a whole lot of unknown quantities.
Yeah.
And things like this one.
Exactly. So, but let's look at this. So we got a couple things here. I want to go back to this one too. Improving his legacy and family. Let's talk about that for a second. When you have the opportunity to bolster your own family, which, okay, I don't know how much money he got. I know he made millions over his whole career and he's still doing it. But if you make $1 million and you spend $999,000, you still broke. But he had that opportunity to do that. He had the opportunity to say, okay, I did this. And I saw something this morning too with his kids. I mean, okay, his son quarterback, going to the school with him, done. But his other two kids, they working on the social media presence and recording stuff and putting stuff out there and marketing and doing all of that. And it's just putting his kids on a different level. So, man, I think legacy is a big thing.
It's absolutely a big thing. His first responsibility is to his family, his children, his wife, and all that. That's his first responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And that's his first responsibility for all of us as men. So everything else is secondary to that. I understand that Coach Prime's in a difficult spot because so much of it was made about older researchers at HBCUs, and he was such a big part of that. But it takes more than just one guy. And everybody else, if you're going to give this guy all of this, oh, he's responsible for this and all that, then the other part of that, and we've talked about this before, the other part of that is people have to follow.
Yeah.
People have to listen. People have to, if you're going to say this is the guy, we're going to ride and we're going to support this guy. The other part of that deal is listen and do. And Jackson State didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And regardless of how much money he made in his career, and I know enough about Deion Sanders to know he took care of his money.
Mm-hmm.
Money ain't the issue for Prime. Deion Sanders will tell you he got endorsement checks he never spent.
Yeah.
So, and we all know how big the Deion Sanders shoes were and all that.
And they didn't came back.
Right. They still out. So, you know, we know the man straight far as that is concerned. But it's how is it he's at a small HBCU school and got all that pressure?
Yeah.
When his coaches at major SEC school, his coaches at Vanderbilt, this is SEC Division I big time, and they excited if them boys win 6 games.
Exactly.
So from a personal health and interest and stress and all of that stuff, and actual opportunity to win at the highest level, Colorado's a better opportunity for him.
Yeah, definitely, man. And you know what? I want to say this because everybody always say, "Oh, it's all about the money." It's about the money, but you got to think. People with money, they don't think like us. When you get so much till you're not cashing endorsement checks, it's more about the power and more about achieving your goals. That's when stuff shifts, when you don't have to worry about necessities. It's just like this. If you had a job, right? Let's say you're working at your job. They paying you $90,000 a year, $100,000 a year. Let's make it round. And you had the opportunity to stay at that job because it's a bunch of black people there and you the manager got to take care of them. But you got to jump through all these hoops. But you got to offer for another job that pay the same, pay $25,000 more, $125,000, no headaches, and you getting everything you need to do the job. So you're gonna stay at that job because of a bunch of black people that you got to take care of, or you gonna jump ship and bring some with you?
That ship over there looking kind of good.
I'm just saying, man. That's just what frustrates me, man, because we got to understand that everybody don't think the same way we do. And everybody want to be benevolent except when it come to them. When it come to your turn to help people and do something, oh, they're going to be all about themselves too. But they crucify this man for doing what's best for him and his family. Yep. Look, it might have, I think this is what I believe. This is the first thing I saw. Coach Prime went there. He set the blueprint. He set the blueprint for other people to duplicate the same thing.
Right.
People who not Coach Prime, they can go work at other HBCUs. They can do all of that. They could do that. He set the blueprint. Oh boy, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Coach Reese has entered the chat. Let's go.
Oh snap.
There you go. Coach Reese.
Hold on. Welcome to the show. None other than Mr. Battleground. Big dog. Handling it all. Little league, big league, middle league. Oh, Curtis Reese. Your mic on.
Hold on, I got you, bro. Let me go ahead and unmute you. Go ahead and unmute, then you could come in with the fire.
Oh, listen, I'm so blessed to have y'all two as friends. Man, people have no idea. Man, listen, I tell you, we don't speak as often as we should, and we have not seen each other face to face. But it's like we ain't never left Groves High School. I promise you. Man, it's so much family and fun every time I get to see y'all and watch y'all do y'all thing here on the show, man. I love it, man.
So, Coach, man, look, you've been outspoken about a lot of things this week. And like I told you, always got a place here. You can come on every week if you want to. And we can chop it up, do what we got to do. But I think you have more insight and expertise on this thing that's going on, actually being a coach. So What's your thoughts, man? Lay it out there. And hey, let's see where we go. So tell us where you at.
Well, I will tell you, man, listen, I saved this link. I did not post it up. But I saw it this morning while I was waiting. I just got back from my son's basketball game. So I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting. And Jason Whitlock. Yeah. Now, Jason Whitlock has been called a coon. He's been called this. He's been called a lot of things. But lately, since Jason Whitlock has been on his own platform, man, Jason Whitlock he's been a lot. He has been a lot with a lot of things, and you know, if everybody gets an opportunity to look what he said, and I'll repost it because I shared it to my inbox just so I would not forget to repost it. But it's two sides of this.
Yeah.
And my opinion, him calling Dion a mercenary. I did.
Come on, bro. He get paid for services.
Well, and I had to listen at everything in its totality. I had to listen at everything because when he first started, it was like, hold on, wait a minute. It's like, all right, well, let me see where you're going with this. And he ended up saying his intents and purposes, once again, you're gonna have to watch the whole thing. His intents and purposes were meant for one thing, but we didn't do what we were supposed to do as a culture.
Let's talk about it.
And from the more that this thing unravels, oh my gosh, the more that it unravels, a lot of people first start talking about, well, JSU didn't do what they were supposed to do with the money. And I will say this, the general fund.
Yep.
And in most HBCUs, most of our HBCUs are struggling. And when you have a figure like that and you make money hand over fist, the way a big insurge of just all this money that's coming in, you know, you look at it, and we all know this. I gave this analogy. It's like your kid's piggy bank when you're struggling. You go in the piggy bank to go pay the light bill or this to keep the lights and to keep these things on with the intentions of putting the money back. You just never do it because you're so wrapped up and you're so far behind the 8 ball in financial backing. And so everybody's like, oh, well, you got to put all that money back into the football program. Ticket sales go to certain things. But once again, they do push things to the general fund. Now, are people stealing? Technically, yes, and technically, no. Technically, yes, because the funds are supposed to be allocated for something else. But moving it over to the general fund pays for salaries, teacher salaries. It pays for stuff that educational purposes that don't get funding. So in a sense, in the government state of law, you are stealing.
That's it. General accounting principles. Those gap principles, they violating that all day long. General accounting principles. Can't do that.
And our culture is like, well, we gotta, and when you get so far behind, it's like, all right. And once again, I'm only stating opinions. None of this is fact. I do know from my experiences, you have to have certain things lined up, which I'm pretty much sure a big, a D1 program, because Jackson State, even though there's FCS, it is D1. A D1 program would have accounts and certain things for money to flow into these certain pots. I know at one instance with me being at the middle school level, it happened to me. I got a couple of people to write some checks. And on the checks, it may have said for the basketball team or the football team or athletics, but at the middle school level, middle school does not have an account for athletics. So guess where that money goes to? It goes to the general fund. So And and this is how I felt, and I feel Coach Prime. I felt betrayed because I had a conversation with the principal, and I felt purposely that you did not tell me. I was a novice at the time. You didn't tell me that, oh, well, coach, make sure in order for you to get the funds, hey, you might want to do this or you might want to do this. Don't just write it to the school because you will not see it. This is how it came to me. Hey, all right, I know we got some money. Man, we got $1,000. I just got somebody donated $1,000. Hey, I want to get some shooting shirts. I ain't asked for a lot. I ain't asked for uniforms. Say I want everybody, girls and boys, to have shooting shirts. Oh, well, oh, coach, well, that money went into the general fund. This is when I first learned because I was novice, didn't know anything about it. Hold on, wait a minute. Hey, oh yeah, you would have had to put, you'd have had to have an account. You had to do X, Y, Z. So, brother, you telling me that me and you sat down and had multiple conversations about this, and you didn't tell me none of this until after when I started searching for the money? See, you set me up. You set me up. And you only got one time to cross my kids because this money wasn't for me. This was for the kids. It wasn't for just the boys basketball program, wasn't for the football. It was for the kids. And that encompasses girls and boys, whatever is in season and whoever needs.
That's right.
And so you got one time to cross me. And so they was like, so after that, and this is why some people might say call it burning bridges, but I figured out the system and all right, okay, no problem. All right, booster clubs, right? Parents can do booster clubs. So this is why booster clubs are so important. And this is one thing that people don't understand is everybody believes that the district gives so much money. I don't care how much you win. You can win all in that, the state championships that you want to. But in a public school setting, it all goes into one pot. Everybody gets an equal amount. So even though that you may have had those stands filled, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't matter. I'm only going if everybody in the district gets $2,000 and I won a state championship, I'm still only going to get $2,000 from the district. So with that being said, you need people outside entities, you like the booster club, to work for you and say, hey, listen, this is what we want to accomplish. How much do we need to fundraise? What do we need to do? X, Y, Z. And that's why you see so many fundraisers now at school level, because it's not like when we were growing up and in the old days, you know, a lot of people would just give, or this and be a part of the school. And there was so much school spirit. It's not like that anymore. But we yell school spirit. But every time we ask for $1 or something, ain't nobody, hey, you can't hear hide no hair from these people.
Well, let me, based on what you just said, there's two things I want to bring up. One, this whole time I've been harping on it's not just his responsibility with HBCUs. It's more people. And you talked about booster clubs. You talked about supporting them in other ways. So why do you think it is that this happens and people don't support the schools that they graduated from and attended with this, like he's giving his own money? And then also the second part is, do you think that he would have made adjustments if they just would have told him, hey, Prime, we hurting, the school going down, you know, can we do some of this with you and work together?
Well, I will say this. Go ahead, Jeremy, and I'm gonna come back because this is a good one.
Okay. Bottom line is what the contract said.
Yeah.
Whatever it was written up in his contract. Now, if they wanted to make amendments to the contract, you know, adjustments or whatever, they could have made that. But if I go, just it's no different for any of us. If we go to work and they say they're gonna pay us $30 an hour, then we get our check and it's only $25 an hour. It's smoke in the city, and you all know that. It's gonna be a problem. hold, my man. You said I was getting 30. Oh man, look, I had to pay my man over here his 20. So I took, I only had 15 for him. So I took 5 of your 30 to give him his 15 so you could keep working. So you have we ain't, none of us gonna hear that. And none of us gonna hear that. I need the whole 30. Because I gave you $30 an hour work. And last time I checked, my son ain't stopped growing yet.
Yeah.
So I need all mine.
Now, I will say this.
Go ahead.
We as a culture dropped the ball. And it's like this. So another thing people got to realize is when Deion brought a lot of revenue, and I remember when this happened with LeBron, and I referenced LeBron the other day in a post, because when LeBron left Cleveland, he was the biggest thing in Cleveland. And the revenue that he brought in to the city, that number, everybody acts like that number goes to a certain person. No, that's like all of these businesses. If I'm bringing Battleground, for instance,
right.
I've got Battleground. I'm giving people opportunities. I'm bringing multiple people into the community that normally don't come here.
Right.
And so it's gonna, your revenue is gonna, you're gonna increase by a couple $100 because people gonna eat in the area. They're gonna get gas from the area. They're gonna be at your school. They're gonna be at your school. So that the number of that $30 million, we brought $30 million of revenue, that's dispersed out to everybody that has got a little bit of taste while they were having football games.
But let's say this though. I want to flip back to what I said earlier. Do you think if the dean of the school would have said, Coach Prime, look, this is what I got. These other teachers over here need to be paid. We ain't got it. We need some help. Can I take this? Well, he only had to ask permission. Hey, I'm gonna take some of this and shoot that way, so these kids can still continue to learn and the teacher can get paid. And then I'm gonna cut off you a piece too. Just be upfront and honest with them.
So I'm gonna tell you like this: the way it looks right now, that had already been done.
Okay.
And so now here it is. He spent 2.5, because the first season was 2020 during Corona. So they had a spring and then they came back. But anyway, so he spent about 3 years at Jackson State, roughly 2.5, 3 years. That's enough time to kind of change the culture, which they did.
Yeah.
But now you've got to you got to hold up your end of the bargain, because I brought the show in. I've held up my end of the bargain. I've put a spotlight on our area. I brought money into the community. All I'm asking is for you to get me back in return, which, i.e., that means what happened. Once again, all these things are unfolding little by little. And now we're having dialogue. What he asked of the city was, okay, we brought
go ahead.
$30+ million. Can we get 10% of that? $3 million.
Yeah.
It's $3 million, right? So 10% of that, 3.1. And then what he said was, I wasn't even asking for the football team. Can the university get 3.1? So this wasn't, and a lot of people miss context in words. Like they missed the words. I'm like, oh, no, you got to listen to what he said.
Right.
He actually said, look, I wasn't asking, hey, can that go back to the university? He said, hey, that need to go back to football, the university. So it was Prime is a package deal.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get the show. I'm gonna bring in the money. So this needs to help everybody. And he understood going to Jackson State, what he needed to do and how he needed to do it and what the culture entailed. Now, from great sources. And a lot of people look at me and they hear me talk all the time and they think I'm just blowing wind out of my butt. But what I got to lie for? I don't have to lie to you about things I know that are factual that you can go look up. So this thing from a great credible source, Jason Whitlock, did some due diligence, asking, calling around for some people. And the coach that was on Last Chance U, the very last one, the Indy, the white guy, can't think of his name right now. He said from a credible source that's in the program that was hot, that's on Deion's staff, said this. He said, listen, I was in the room every time Deion would call and ask big people such as the LeBron stature. He didn't name LeBron in name, but he said LeBron stature. So that means, hey, look, you got to kind of listen to the lingo.
Right.
That means, okay, well, we asked LeBron and people of his status. So he's kind of grouping everybody in. He ain't actually naming LeBron, but he said LeBron stature and status. And those type of people that are billionaires. It's only a few. So you can go and do your research and figure out who our few black billionaires are. And nobody, it was crickets. Nobody wanted to donate.
That's right. You know what? And it remind me of Dr. Dre when he gave, millions of dollars to what that was, Cal State. He didn't even go to that school. I don't even think he lived by that school. So where's the outrage for people that do that?
And
who
see,
have to give money for their tax deductions every year.
But here we go. That comes to finding like-minded people and the culture that we have created about black people don't handle business properly. The culture of we're not supporting our own. And that's a prime example, no pun intended, but it's a great example. And I'm a testament to that because I'll tell you this. It ain't all about money. It's about resources.
Yeah.
Right. And so if I ask, and you've done some free work for me, and I don't even want to say as in free, but I mean, you've taken out free time out of your day to say, hey, I'll do this and I'll do this mock-up for you. And greatly appreciative of that, right? But it ain't a lot of us doing that. First thing we'll say is we'll look at pockets. We'll start pocket checking.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, you know what?
How much money you got?
Well, Reese charging $250 a kid, and then and this, but you don't know. And I think we talked about this on this before.
Yeah, that's good.
But you don't know what the expenditures, what I gotta spend out. And at the same token, it's still a business. So I still got to make money for me and my family.
Well, you got people to pay. You got people to pay too. And that was Deion's biggest gripe was, I got to pay my coaches, man. I got to pay the coaches. I got to pay the staff. And y'all taking the money that's supposed to be from our program that I thought I would have to work with to grow the program. And I realize you got bills over here, but don't turn around and look at me strange when I say, well, I'm going to go where I can grow the program.
And I think the biggest thing is the culture is hurt more than people at Jackson State. Because the funniest thing about this is the presidents, the mayor just went on, he did something and talked about doing a back-to-back parade for them. And he talked about it when he was at the city hall to get the parade approved. And he said, listen, Prime did a great job. And once again, you got to read between the lines.
Right.
It's a handshake type thing. Both of them, Prime needed JSU just as much as JSU needed Prime. And at the end of the day, everybody shook hands and went their separate ways. And for us as the culture, everybody outside of the thing, we're taking it more hard because I was disappointed of the fact that I wanted to see him build something.
I did,
but I wasn't mad at Prime.
No, listen. Like I said, I think he was right in a lot of respects, and in some respects, I think he was wrong. But once you put it all together, everything that was going on, I don't blame a man for not wanting to be part of that.
No,
because if I've worked very hard to build what little name I have up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you around me on some bull, I'm gonna tell you flat out, we don't do that around here.
Nope, we ain't messing with it.
I don't. I'm grown as hell. I don't have time for the play stuff. I had a homeboy once. He got a little behind on this car note or whatever. Hey man, can I park my car in your driveway? I said, yeah, you cool, you can do that. But then as soon as he got it back straight, I said, look, we don't do that. Mm-hmm. We passed that point in life. We take care of business over here.
That's right.
I helped you out that one time. Next time the answer is no. Take care of business, man. I know where you working. I know if you ain't got the money to pay your bills, it's because you're wasting money.
Or you living outside your means.
Right.
So
if you need to go online and find your budget program, I'll show you one.
You see it?
Yeah, I see that post.
Jamel said that.
Listen, I don't think that's his end goal. I don't think Florida State is what he's building to. First and foremost, if anybody has ever watched anything dealing with Prime, especially when he was at the high school level, Prime has always wanted to coach football at a high level. So for people to saying that, listen, he definitely wanted Florida State when it came open. And he felt like, well, y'all didn't even try to help me get that job. Y'all didn't see my value in coaching because you didn't think that I could actually coach. You just thought that I was just all about show and I wasn't serious. So you hit me with you don't have the paperwork, the college degree in order to coach at this level. Now, I will say this. Florida State is a state university. Mm-hmm. I'm not well familiar whether you need a college degree or not. Like, it's different with private. That's why a lot of people go private. Right. Because you don't have a lot of red tape. All you got to do is get past a few board members. And if everybody on the board are in agreement and they vote on it, you're in there. Now, public, there's a lot of red tape, paperwork that you got to go through, certain things that you got to have. And I talk about this on another platform, which is Effingham County Youth Sports Group.
Right.
And I tell parents all the time because in my face, they'll ask me, well, man, Reese, you need to be up there coaching. Why you ain't coaching? And I come on the platform and I tell them straight out, listen, I'm not going back to school just to coach at Effingham County High School. I've coached in South Carolina. I've coached in Florida. I'll go somewhere where I don't have to go. I don't want to go through 4 more years of school. I'm good on that. It's not that important to me because I can coach these babies and I'd be perfectly fine. I can coach right out here what I'm doing, what I did this year. I stepped away and I've been coaching youth football and I'm getting ready to go back coach 7-on-7 and I'm coaching travel basketball. I'm starting up back my chapter back up here in my area again in Savannah, the Coastal Empire area. I'm fine with that. Developing young minds is what I'm about. So a lot of the things that Prime has said is like, man, this dude, like me and this dude, one of the same. Like he's speaking for me, and I just repost what he said because I feel it. I'm right there with him.
Exactly.
Okay. So the question is, Coach Prime, was he wrong? Yes, no. Yes or no? What do you think he was wrong?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't think he was wrong.
I'm gonna have to go the same way. I don't think he was wrong. Doc, was he right? Was he wrong?
Well, I'm gonna say it like this: he wasn't wrong, not for doing what everybody else would have done. It's not right to solely place everything on his shoulders. That's not right. He didn't sign up for that. No,
Okay.
no, he wasn't wrong.
Second question: do we as a culture support Colorado the same way we support Jackson State?
Obviously, we do, because I swear everybody is. Hey, I'm getting my Colorado hat. I ain't went that far. I have not went that far, but it's a lot of us. I'm getting Colorado, and I'm
Hey,
getting my
Spoon
hat and
said
shirt there. So, and it's a lot of that, and it's like
And
they're not really. What you say?
I don't think we should. On that note, I feel like if we're going to spend money on merchandise, on product, then our efforts, our money should go to our HBCUs. If I can go out and buy a Georgia hat, I can go out and buy a Savannah State hat.
I have different opinion on that. And I'm split. I do understand why you say that. You know, we need to spend money with HBCUs. We need to do this, and a lot of other people say it. I understand that.
If the problem is the money, and we spending it, clearly Black folks are spending the money. We all the reports about the billions and billions of dollars a year Black folks spend on nonsense. Why we can't support ourselves?
Well, this is what I see though.
Like our leaving.
Okay. Here's a multi-pronged approach at this. And I think my position on Black kids, white kids, all of that has shifted over the years. And this is why, because I've gotten the opportunity to work very closely with a lot of white kids, a lot of Indian kids, Japanese kids, Chinese kids, Puerto Rican kids. Like, I've touched them all over the past decade and a half. And what I started to see is that those communities, we all have the same problem. So I see it as of looking out for kids. And like I said earlier, Colorado State, guess who playing there? Black kids.
Yeah.
So we don't want to support them because they chose not to go to HBCU? No. As a matter of fact, what I think, this is what I truly think. Business is about competition, right?
Right.
If you have to compete to earn money, then you need to compete, not just be given everything, because you're paying for an inferior product and you're giving your money to that. Now, hold on. Let me explain that. I'm not saying HBCUs are inferior, but that's in terms of the business lingo. The business lingo, you pay for something that's inferior.
Well, what if the only reason it can be categorized as inferior is because we haven't put the money into it yet? The reason those big time schools,
okay.
I give you a prime example of what happened in the last 10 to 15 years. Oklahoma State.
Okay.
Oklahoma State was trash bags. Then T. Boone Pickens went down there and put $100 million into that university. Now they're a top 25 team every year.
Okay, but all right, check this out. What we already established, right? Let's say everybody do that. We buying Savannah State hats. We buying Jackson University paraphernalia. We doing the full boat. But guess who's not getting the money? The athletic show ain't getting it because it's going in the general fund. I mean, what's happening?
Listen, and to both points, man, I will say this. Representation matters in all facets of life, in all social classes. Representation matters. And once again, that is where we are falling short because we just don't have, like, here we go. And I'm not knocking LeBron and them, and because I can't do that. They're doing something that I can't do, which is funnel, build your own school, which is a dream of mine. That man got a whole school and sending kids off the college in his community of Akron, Ohio.
Yep.
Boom, right? So he's got funds allocated just for that. But if it's just not in his realm to do that, I can't fault them for not giving. But we have to have somebody to come out like Dion is doing and be mainstream, to have that type of swagger. Because think about this. We have not had anybody with that type of swagger in that position.
because that's what sells. It was
Look.
him. That proof it was prime the whole time. And I think that's why people are upset, because they know it's about to dry up. It's gonna follow him. We as African Americans, you know what we buy? We buy people.
We buy image.
And that's what has happened. So my question is this: how can we fix this collectively? Fix the HBCU football problem, the coach buying problem, all of that. How can we fix that?
The only way is to invest in ourselves. It's the only way.
Okay.
You know, the alumni and those among us who are more affluent and those of us who are regular, we got to take the time, and it's not easy all the time, you know, and say, okay, I spend in a year $150 on sports paraphernalia, whatever your number. Well, I'm going to spend at least half of that with HBCUs. So if you think about the number of black folks that spend money on T-shirts, hats, clothes, all that kind of stuff, if they took half of that money and either donated it and or purchased, maybe we got a different result. Because we know the money is out there. We fund so much of this country with our money. You know the money's out there.
Well, the biggest thing is we've got to have that the big financial backing, and look, you got to have a money truck. It just and we don't have that. We just don't have that. And then we do get in those positions. It's got to be relatable. People like where you said Cal State, he gave however much Dr. Dre
it was like $70 million or something like that.
$70 million to Cal State. Well,
they named the whole building after him, though.
Exactly.
That's one big thing.
Listen,
go ahead.
That's a big thing, because we can't do that. I remember years ago, Savannah State was supposed to have Allen E. Paulson Complex, and because he was a white man,
right,
a Caucasian man, from my understanding, they said no. So then you stunt your growth, because I see what y'all trying to do. We got Gulfstream. I got Gulfstream right here, and I want to help y'all grow because it's in my backyard and it feels like this is what I should do. You just got to, you don't want it because you ain't want to name it after him.
Now, go ahead.
Well, guess what? We got any other black billionaires trying to give you some money?
Nope.
All right. So now we got to find somebody that's going to be able to get in that position to funnel it back down and bring up people. Once again, it's the crab in the barrel mentality, but we should do it in reverse. Okay. Because as us, I'm going to tell you, landscaping is a perfect example, just like these youth events. You got so much greenery. There's no way possible that I can cut everybody's grass, but yet, you know what we do? We will say, oh, don't go cut with him. He do a bad job. Instead of saying, hey, brother, I can't get to this yard over here.
Pass it on.
Can you go get that? That's your contract now.
Yep.
And so, and grow up billionaires to then funnel back down. That's where it happens. Hey, we can nickel and dime it all day, but until we get those big resources, we're going to still be in this same position over and over and over again.
It's not like learn how to work together, but it sounds like to me some group economics.
Oh, of course. Well, that's a part of it too. But listen to this. This is what I think. I think in order to fix this problem, there needs to be a multi-pronged approach. Number one, we have to go to HBCUs. They got to be honest with themselves and let these people know what's going on. And I'm going to say this as my personal example. When I was running the warehouse down there, Hankook Tires had 650,000 tires in there, all of them. But the inventory was never right. It was never right. And the people I was working for was like, you know what? Just fudge your numbers. Don't tell Hankook we missing tires. I was missing like 100,000 tires, bro. No lie. People were stealing them, all kinds of stuff. So you know what we had to do to fix that problem? I had to tear down every single location, down to nothing but bare floor, and rebuild it. And what I found out is that some locations that said 20 racks was in there actually had 30 racks in there. So it was all miscounted. And then I told Hancock, all right, look, this is what's happening. Problem got fixed. The same thing needs to happen. They got to rip all that stuff down. Look, we're transparent. This is where we at financially. We need this money. We need to do this, all of that. What that does is, number one, erases the stigma that HBCUs mishandles their money or that people are stealing. Because I don't think people stealing money. I think they so far underwater, they trying to boost themselves up so they can breathe through their nose. So you got to do that first. Then number two, we have to get the people. All right. When you are extremely wealthy, right? Extremely wealthy, not just billionaires, but multimillionaires, all of this. In order for them to align themselves with taxes, they have to give away so much money. They have to show it going out. So that way it reduces their taxable income. So they're giving it away anyway. They need to work with those people to get them to funnel the money they're giving away anyway to these HBCUs that they go on social media and say that, oh, we need to support, we need to be a part of that. You do those two things. And then also, well, I'm not sure if you can attract another prime. There's not another one. We have other professional football players, but they don't have, like I said, we buy swagger. We do. And ain't gonna be no more. And like I said, Prime laid the blueprint out. How to do it, way to do it. That's it. So I think those are the things that we have to do to course correct all of this. But nobody want to do it. We just want to complain about it and put the blame on everybody else. It sounds like a bunch of teenagers to me. Teenagers want to say it's everybody else's fault except for the one that you look at in the mirror every day.
Okay, so all right. We're gonna drill this thing down. We're gonna put some final thoughts out.
All right, let's go.
All right. So we feel like Prime did what he had to do for him.
Mm-hmm.
And we feel like the HBCUs kind of dropped the ball, and we as a culture may have dropped the ball as far as backing them up so he could have stayed at Jackson State. We had a little bit of talk about what we think we can do better. So as individuals, one man, me, myself, you yourself, Coach Reese, you yourself, what would you like to see happen first with HBCUs and then second with Coach Prime career?
So
I see you.
So with HBCUs, man, the biggest thing is I would like to see is it starts at home, man. Us being a community and starting supporting the notion of it's D1 or bust. And that's a big issue. I think HBCUs will be a whole lot better now, because with the transfer portal, kids are going to want to play football. So we're going to start getting some of what our kids, air quote, back into the HBCU culture. I would love to see us as a community of African Americans, hey, just support it. I'm trying to figure out whatever happened to the United Negro Fund. Where did that go at? I know that was a big thing, and it's just kind of it kind of went away. You know, that things of that nature. I know at one time we were giving a few dollars, even if it's a few dollars, anything helps. And with Coach Prime, man, I wish him the best of luck. First of all, I don't think he's gonna need it. Second of all, you already see, and I don't know why people thought that he wasn't gonna get the kids. First of all, the very first day, he got a top 5 kid signed to him. The very next day, another kid already on the board, ready to go. Then the transfer portal opened on that Monday, this Monday. And you know what happened on Monday? You know how many people he had in his inbox, 5 stars? Yo, especially the big running back from Alabama, kid, hey, talented as hell. Hey, Unc, this was his tweet. Hey, Unc, you got a spot for me? So anybody who think he ain't going to be successful is tripping. The man is going to turn it around. It's going to be 2, 3, 4 years before you can really even see anything. But if you see it before then, don't be surprised, because he's a player's coach. He's an old school coach. And one thing about kids, I do know for a fact, kids want discipline. Regardless of what they say out their mouth, they want discipline.
That's right, man. Look what Jamel said. I hope a group of Black elite athletes get together and pick a school to sponsor, then represent it. If they don't want to coach, pick a good Black upcoming coaches and fight it out. I mean, that's a good plan. That's a good plan. I guess I can answer the question. Number one, so we said, what do we want to see happen with HBCUs?
Yes.
I want to see them be on the same level as every other school. You know, I mean, with academics and sports. I do want them to be more transparent. You know, they admit, hey, this is where we at. We trying to come back. We trying to fix this. But it seems like it's more covering up the more you go. I mean, it's historical. All the way from the Freedmen's Bureau, from after the Civil War. So we have to preserve them. But it's just, and I don't know why this happens. I would like to see a study done on why this is happening in HBCUs and figure out what we need to do different. And in terms of sports and support, I want to see them put out what that's what Coach Prime did. He put out a product that was superior to everything else. That's why everybody wanted to go there. That's why Jackson State became so big. Because remember what I said earlier about inferior products? He put out a superior product that everybody wanted from an HBCU. He did that. So they need to figure out how to do it. I mean, that's competition. That's what business is. That a lot of people don't understand what business is. It's competition. That plain and simple. So those are things I would like to see. Oh, we got some comments flowing in. Let's see what we got here.
Hey, I gotta run, fellas. Hey, I appreciate y'all time.
Thank you for joining us, brother.
Man, thanks, man.
Hey, I'm gonna get back with you, man, so we can get back on together. You know. All right, let's go ahead and do this and we can wrap this up. Right. Paul said Coach Prime calls many kids to rethink about going HBCUs other than Jackson State, and they got better talent. Yep. True. Black businesses, politicians, and schools have to cover up stuff because unlike their counterparts, they can't call anyone to bail them out.
Okay.
That's true. So, man, where are you at with this? I know you are, but
first off, I want to see the HBCUs do better. You know, I went to Savannah State. You know, if I go back to school again, I would. You know, I'm in Atlanta, so I would probably one of the primary Black institutions there if I chose to go back to school. So I want to see them do better. I want to see them succeed. I don't understand why it should be as large a gap between PWIs and HBCUs, even though it is some PWIs that's out there struggling and doing all the wrong things too.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's not act like it's not. And as far as Coach, I hope the man is extremely successful. I agree with Coach. I think it's going to be 2 or 3 years before Colorado can compete with you know, really compete at the top. But I think they'll be inside the top 25 in 2 years, and I think they'll be in the top 10 in 3 to 4. Because like he said, the talent, you know, guys went to the transfer portal and they went with the intent to end up in Colorado. Just a matter how many scholarships he has to give.
They didn't care wherever Prime was at, that's where they was going to be at.
Right.
I mean, regardless.
Yeah.
Because you get seen.
Just depending on how many scholarships he has to give. And with the way the transfer portal set up right now, you know, you can play right away. So I wish him the best, man. I just want everybody to look at this situation fairly.
Yeah.
You know, support our Black men and women publicly, no matter what. And if we got to have a discussion about it, we have it in house. You know what I'm saying? It was a clip I just saw, and I meant to share it in the group with Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. When we all know the beef between Ali and Frazier. Ali said, "Hey, listen, I know we don't like each other, but right now, we're gonna get together on this white boy."
And
we that's what we got to do. We got to put our differences to the side. We can be mad at Dion all we want, but publicly, yo, we got your back, brother.
Yeah, definitely. That'll work, man. All right. So we're getting ready to close this thing out. I'm just gonna say this. Stay tuned next week, Thursday. Book study, Way of the Superior Man. Those
sir.
next chapters, man, there's some fire coming. Like it's
Yeah.
gonna be hot. It's gonna change your life. Y'all need to come and be a part of that. I'm telling you. Nerd show next week. Woo. I don't know where we're gonna go. We working on some stuff, but the cocaine bear from
And
last week.
if you can hear the music in the background, they decorating the trees. They getting the house ready for Christmas parties, man. So I got to go out here and spend some
Yeah.
time. But I
Let's do
appreciate
it.
y'all joining us. I appreciate all the comments. Thank you for coming out. We love you. We out.
Peace.